All right, welcome to another edition of Swim Easy Speed. Today we're going to take a look at and analyze a stroke that was put up on Slowtwitch by Slowtwitch user Mr. Freeze. So we're going to take a look at Mr. Freeze's stroke. I pulled the video that was down on that he had posted and kind of tried to pull out as much of what was useful as possible. So there's not a ton of video here, but we're going to try to do the best job we can. So I'll just let it play through, and it's 2 underwater shots. It's a head-on and then side underwater, and then we'll rewind it and start to talk about it a little bit. Okay, so that's what we've got. So the first thing, and we'll go back to here, and I'm going to slow it down a little bit, and then go there. So from this angle, it looks like, you know, the main issue is that you can see kind of the hand basically coming across right there. You know, so he's not entering in perfectly straight. Now he corrects and brings it back, but then you can see, and this is, let's see what this is right here. Are we going to have enough? No. Yeah, it's a little wide. You know, it might be better if we could get it maybe more something about like, maybe like that. So the hands moved in a little bit, not as deep. But again, that's gonna require more core engagement, more core strength, and then more kind of strength in upper body, lats, scapular muscles, to pull that off. Back up again. And then that right side looks a little bit better. We'll see right there. So we're a little closer here. Yeah, we're pretty close there. You know, maybe about like that. Might be a little bit better, but that's probably pretty good. I think we're nitpicking at that point. But you can see kind of, I think it's both. Or is it the left more than the right? Yeah, I mean, you're right on. He's right on midline right there. You can see that elbow really drops from this angle. So he's just kind of pressing down on the water. And let's see, is it always looking forward? Yeah, head position looks pretty good. But yeah, you can see kind of there too. And that's partly what's causing that. We'll be able to see kind of the legs kind of splaying or scissor kicking a little bit in the back. That's just to provide the core is getting overwhelmed, and there's just the body and brain are trying to create some stability in the water from that instability that's being created because everything's not going perfectly straightforward. Okay, so from here, so the one thing I know the triathlon community loves to talk about a lot is this EVF, so early vertical forearm. And I've seen, you know, a number of there's, I guess, popular kind of ideas on how to get that, you know, that's the most important thing. So we'll go to that right here forward a little bit more. And you can see right there where he's on that right, where he's really just spearing the water. And he gets in kind of a decent position right there, kind of that early vertical forearm position. Now, the problem with it is this, yeah, that's the position we want, but, you know, typically in swimming, we've always called it a high elbow catch. And the reason that's important and the difference between an early vertical forearm and a high elbow catch is language. And, you know, if we're talking about a high elbow catch, the operative word there is catch, which is you've got to set that catch and then keep the elbow high as you pull through. So with early vertical forearm, you see a lot of people and coaches talk about spearing the water right there. Well, when you spear the water right there, you give up setting that catch. It's really hard to grab the water when you do that, and it tends to make it where the core is not as engaged. And what we're trying to do is set that catch, grab the water. The core engages even more because you're putting pressure on your hands out there at the front of the stroke. So it's kind of your core and that hand pressure in the front of the stroke is keeping you up in the water. And it's that core engagement that we're really going for. The core is what's providing all of the stability in the water. And without it, we're not able to really transfer that power that we're generating from that pull stroke into forward momentum. It's kind of like pushing against a wet noodle then. Then it impacts body position. It impacts kind of body coordination. And remember, for the swim, that pull, it's a full body movement. You've got to get your entire body coordinated together to get as much pressure on your hands as you can. And so that's typically when you see kind of like, that little kind of splay of the legs right there. So there's a foot. Those are all the things that are bringing that back end down. And then you're also increasing drag. And in the water, in the pool, in open water, drag is worse than anything you could possibly imagine on the bike. So anything that you're kind of obsessed about in terms of decreasing drag on the bike pales into comparison to decreasing drag in the water. And, he's got pretty good body position here. I mean, you could see a little bit of that angle right there. So, this is all drag that he has to pull against. And I did a little experiment not too long ago where I put a heart rate monitor on in the pool, in the endless pool. And I swam at the pace that I normally swim at and how I would normally swim. And my heart rate was 105. And I'm fairly long and flat on the water. And then what I did was I intentionally lowered my back end. So I went from 105 to 148, my heart rate shot up to. And the stroke rate increased by about 20 to 25%. So basically I was having to take more strokes, pulling a lot harder to go the same pace. And it increased my heart rate by 40%. So that's how important and impactful kind of body position is in the water. And, the thing that's impacting the most and what's getting in the way, and we won't know how all of this changes until he changes that entry on, mainly on the left, but on the right probably could use a little work too. I don't really have a great view of that. I'd rather see kind of up above the water, kind of where it's coming in and at an angle downwards, but it was the video that was kind of available. And then you can see here, he's in that early vertical forearm. And then you see the elbow right there. So that elbow right there start to drop. Okay, starts to drop right there. So he's just dumping pressure off that arm. And it's probably because a lot of the musculature, core engagement can't handle the pressure. So he just dumps it. But doesn't get as good of a pull. So this side he doesn't look like he's spearing the water as much, a little bit, and then the elbow drops. So this is press, press, press. He starts pulling himself forward right about there. So typically what you'd see, and he's doing a pretty good job of it though, but if it's all just press, 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 you'd probably typically see more head and shoulders coming up, but still I think his hips are coming down more than they should. So the gap right there, let's see if we can get a better. So that gap right there between kind of the top of his butt and the water line, and then his knees and the water line and feet in the water line, that gap for him is probably in the 5 to 10 second 100 range. That's how kind of impactful the drag is. So the drill that I would do would be, and I've got them up on the YouTube channel, so it'd be either the position 11 drill with that PVC pipe, where you really work on focusing on getting that hand to enter in shoulder width apart, driving straight forward from your shoulder. And you'd want to think about a lot of core engagement while you were doing it. So bring your belly button up into your spine. Think about someone's pulling you from the top of your head, or that you're trying to kind of lengthen out, increase the distance from your belly button to your sternum. And then the other one you could do would be just a zipper drill, maybe with fins on. But again, really just kind of thinking about that core engagement and that connection that basically drives. And here's why that's so important. So when we're upright, when we're running or cycling, you typically have, because we're designed to be upright, and gravity kind of works on us, so that core engages automatically. And that core kind of engaging or having tension there is what connects all the limbs together of our body so we can work and be coordinated and move. When you're in the pool or open water or in the water in general, you're prone in the water. You're 10% of your body weight, and gravity isn't acting on you in the same way. So for all of that coordination to happen, you've got to create that tension in your core. And that's what we're looking to do. So that's probably where I would start for Mr. Freeze. And yeah, if he or anyone else has any questions, just please let me know. Thanks again for watching.